Jason Aldean, even though I don't listen to him, I'm not like, ooh, Jason Aldean, I know his songs, albums, and so forth. He's not canceled. His video, last time I checked, has over 10 million views. So, like, I'm letting you know, like, that's not canceled. Uduak connecting people with policy. Before we begin today's video, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you're notified whenever I post another video. And y'all, if there's any suggestions of videos that you want me to react to, I don't bite. Feel free to DM me, comment down below, whichever videos it may be. I'm not gonna do all, but like, suggestions won't hurt. But in today's video, we are watching, if you haven't heard, Jason Aldean, he put out a new song called Try This at a Small Town. I did a reaction video of it previously. I'll link it somewhere here. Yeah, before I get into what we're watching today, one thing that I have to say is I am so happy. Something that I do that I used to not do. I would always, especially with this specific video, I watched it blindly with myself. Like, I don't watch other people's opinions of it. I don't watch nobody's videos of it until I watch it myself, and then I create my own opinion, because sometimes we subconsciously put other people's opinions in our heads while we're trying to make it our own opinion, if that makes sense. So with the whole Jason Aldean video, Sparking Chaos, at first when I watched it, I was so confused why it was trending. I was like, why is this trending? And then I started watching people's reviews and people reading why people had backlash. Essentially, a lot of people felt like it was racist. I didn't get racist vibes from it. I'm being so serious when I say I didn't get racist vibes from it. And I'm not even like a big Jason Aldean fan. I don't listen to him, but I for sure did not get racist vibes. So I was like, okay. So in today's video, we're going to watch The View. Apparently, a lot of people had something to say with how they handled their perception. Not they, but a lot of their perceptions on the panel with Jason Aldean's video. And we're going to get into it. Let's get into it.
Backlash for the video of his song Not in a Small Town, which critics are saying is racist. It's got lyrics, racist lyrics, and images. Aldean says the song's about unity. Here's South Dakota Christy Nome defending him. Here's the clip.
I am shocked by what I'm seeing in this country, with people attempting to cancel this song and cancel Jason. I think a lot of times people that go out and fight every day on these important issues and have an opinion and remember the freedom and liberty that this country was founded on get persecuted from it. And we're seeing that with the Aldeans right now and the songwriters that work so hard on this. And I just want them to know that we support them. We love them. Thank you for writing a song that America can get behind. And boy, keep singing, keep playing. And if you want to come to South Dakota, I'll let you play anywhere.
You'll let him play any?
The whole concept of canceling, number one, this whole cancel thing, I don't deem it as like, it's like a whole separate conversation. I don't fully even understand the whole like cancel thing. But Jason Aldean, even though I don't listen to him, I'm not like, ooh, Jason Aldean, I know his songs, albums, and so forth. He's not canceled. His video, last time I checked, has over 10 million views. So like, I'm letting you know, like, that's not canceled. But to say, to get on Whoopi what she was saying or introducing, she was saying that people were thinking that it was racist. I think we have to be very careful when we use words like racist so lightly, mainly because it desensitizes those who actually go through real racism. In my personal opinion, the video is not racist. Like, it's not racist to me. Like, if I'm missing something, and I said in my last video, let me know in the comments, like, if I'm missing something. Respectfully, though, don't come for me. Like, literally, I will delete your comment or something. Like, but no, all jokes aside, I just really didn't get racist. Let me continue to play this.
You own South Dakota now? Listen, you know, there are lyrics in the song, and I think, you know, he talks about life in a small town, and it's different, you know, and he shows these images. He's got folks from the Black Lives Matter movement, and he's talking about...
Pause. How does she know they're from Black Lives Matter movement, though? I feel like that's a dangerous assumption to make. that they're from the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, these specific folks are from the Black Lives Matter movement. Because he didn't say that in the song. And the graphics that he used didn't have any like BLM or anything of that nature. So I feel like that's kind of dangerous for her to say without like
people taking care of each other. And I find it so interesting that it never occurred to Jason or the writers that that's what these folks were doing. They were taking care of the people in their town because they didn't like what they saw. Just like you talk about people taking care of each other in small towns. We do the same thing in big towns. You just have to realize that when you make it about Black Lives Matter, people kind of say, well, are you talking about black people? What are you talking about here? We're talking about America.
Charlie's in a small town. See how far it goes, something like that. He didn't say anything about Black Lives Matter, though. This is her. Okay, so this is where I feel like the disconnect is. I think some people are looking at the video with the perception and the assumption that he's specifically talking about Black Lives Matter. But when I watched the video, the graphics that he was showing, there was white people, like for example, I'm gonna put the screenshot of the clip here. The one that was yelling in front of the cop was a white woman, or a white passing woman at least. So I think to make the assumption or put Black Lives Matter in the discussion when he never said that, I think that's not only dangerous, but that's also personal projection, if that makes sense. Because he did not say Black
taking care of each other, then it shouldn't be about Black Lives Matter. You should be able to show all the different things that have gone on in our country where people stood up and said no more. We do the same thing that small towns do. That's my 2 cents to that.
So this was, I'm sorry. This was, to me, something where about half the people in my life see it one way and half the people in my life see it a different way. So I'm trying to, like, kind of see what are we disconnecting on. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that his intent wasn't to, you know, stoke division, glorify violence, or racism. I'm going to give him that benefit of the doubt. I don't know. But I'll say this. There was a line. So for the many folks who are offended by this, there's a line in it that says, try that in a small town, see how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. So for a lot of my friends and family who are legal gun owners in small communities, they're like, yeah, that's what we do if someone breaks into a store. He's talking about the right to defend yourself. What I thought of when I read that was Ahmaud Arbery. I think of a black man in a small town in the South who literally just got shot for doing nothing wrong. So I think what becomes problematic is that there's a lack of...
It comes down to, okay, yeah, I think that's where the disconnect is with a lot of folks. I think it comes down with personal experience, and your personal experience depicts your perception of the video. Because when I first watched the video, and y'all can go back on my video and see it, what I got from it was like him pretty much testing someone's gangster, like, try that where I come from, see how far you make it type of vibe, like right to bear arms, like don't play that if you want to. That's what I got from it. That's why I didn't deep it. But now, like, I'm hearing them and I'm just like, I think it's based off of like your personal projection on how you view one's video. That's like the same thing with Childish Gambino's This Is America. Some people personally projected it like, oh, whether A, B, and C, he did, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's all about interpretation. I feel like that's why it's dangerous when you try to like overanalyze someone's art. If it's his art and his work and he said he didn't mean it like that, then that's what we take it as. Like, you can't tell him how him and his writers meant it, like, based off of your perception of it.
Recognition of what this means to about 50% of the country whose experience isn't Jason Aldean's. I like him. I've always liked his music. I'm kind of a country gal about like a quarter of the time. But this is also for the folks on the right who are defending this. They see the BLM riots. I think many can acknowledge protests.
I'm forcing it at this point. I don't even listen to country music.
Riots. That George Floyd's death and murder was evil. It was wrong. It was unacceptable. But so was the killing of someone like David Dorn, a black retired police officer who was defending his friend's store and was shot during the riots and aftermath of that movement. So I think if people of good faith can see both sides, they can see there is an issue with this song because of what it means to a lot of communities, but there is an issue of violence, of looting, of rioting.
Yes, but why are you linking it to black people?
Well, that's
the issue.
That's
the issue.
I'm confused. When did he link it to a black person, though? That is like where the disconnect is. Like, I am literally, I'm not even playing dumb. I'm not even playing oblivious. Y'all let me know in the comments. When, if he ever, did he link it to a black person? Because I watched it from beginning to end. Even the graphics that they used, it looks like they purposely didn't put a lot of black people in it just for this reason. Am I I know I'm not tripping. I know I'm not tripping. But like, I really feel like it's personal projection. Because he didn't say anything about black folks. Even the... Let me continue.
Imagery is what becomes very problematic.
You can, again, you can sing about, you know, there's a lot wrong here with this. This is a man who saw what happens when someone is out of control with their guns.
Yeah.
He's someone who was performing in Vegas.
The one with the pink, the Republican, the pink and the black stripes. I feel like she truly doesn't believe. I feel like she wants to go more in to defend Jason Aldean, but she doesn't want no, like, pushback from the table, because it's clear that Whoopi and Sunny and I think Sarah is going to like really defend Jason Aldean. I don't know what Joy's probably going to defend Jason Aldean as well. So I don't know. I feel like she's walking on that thin ice.
And he saw people get, so I don't understand how he could be that disconnected, how people around him didn't say to him, hey, listen, you know what? Maybe there's a better way to do this, because...
When the imagery invoked race, that's what was...
There's no reason to separate big city people from small town people. That, to me, is the divisive part of this song. I mean, it's a deplorable song and it's annoying. Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round up. Well, that S might fly in the city. Good luck. It's very divisive and provocative, but...
If you know The View can be very, like, The View can be very divisive, y'all. I used to watch The View all the time. I don't watch it as much as I do. If I do, it's like clips and stuff. But I used to watch it all the time because my mom watched it growing up, and then my sister watched it growing up. But I feel like Joy's the last person I should be talking about divisive. Like, honestly speaking, though.
I defend his right to do this video.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because they can't censor me, they shouldn't censor him either.
True. I agree with that.
But he has to understand that the big cities are supporting the small towns. Blue counties are responsible for 70% of America's economy.
But it's not about blue or red. See, this is why we can't... I think people wanting to be so deep. Like, stop trying to be deep. Like, just stop. Relax. It's not about the big cities versus small cities. It's not about blue versus red. It's not about none of that.
The big cities are really providing the things that you have in these small towns. You should not be against big cities.
Yeah, but
He's not. Sorry, guys. I'm just. He's number one. I don't want to speak for Jason Aldean, and I'm not gonna bend my back defending him because I don't know him. But just the position that I'm defending is that it's not about big cities and small cities. And the same way that big cities need the same way that she's saying small cities need big cities need small cities as well. So like, let's stop there. But the fact that she's trying to ease in to make it like a blue versus red thing, it's not about that either. Like, we have to stop. Heavenly Father, please wrap your arms around this world, this country. Like, the way that people will go above and beyond to find something different than the next person just to keep themselves away. Like, it's too much. It's too much.
So when I first heard the title before I heard the song, I kind of thought, oh, great, a small town song, like, because I am from a small town in Iowa. I understand the pride and the differentiation between towns and rural communities and the cities, because you're not thought of very highly in this country, never have. Like, when you come out here, I was always that girl from Iowa. Understandably, I claim it proudly. But the point is that we have...
What's wrong with saying that girl from Iowa?
No, they weren't saying it in a way. They're like, oh, she doesn't get it. It's from Iowa. You know, the point is we have a simple life. It's about family. It's about church. It's about community. Big cities have that, too.
I have the same exact way.
Well, let me finish my point. Big cities have the same thing. I had that in my own area in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is not exactly Iowa. But my point is, coming from a small town, when a lot of people don't leave those towns, I understood the community part. The problem is you can never say, see how far you make it down the road without knowing the history of this country. And it wasn't just Jason Aldean, because he didn't write the song, he did perform it. But there's a lot of like checks and balances when you're putting out an album.
I like how Sarah says her point. Even though I disagree with it, I like how she expresses her point and she uses some sort of like knowledge and wisdom and personal experience to support her point, as opposed to not using like projection and picking things out the air. I feel like she's making a solid point for her argument, even though I disagree with it, if that makes sense.
You're going to be touring, you're going to be performing it. I also say shame on every person that could have caught it along the way to say there are problems here.
But the thing is, they're saying shame on every writer who wrote it and could have caught it wrong along the way. You have to realize it's about perception. They didn't mean it that way. So if you're projecting your personal experience on his art, then yes, it's going to come off like, what did he mean by that? The history of this, the history of that. Like, I don't think that's fair on Jason Aldean, for example, or his team. Because if I make a song about my personal experience or my personal art that I'm expressing, and somebody else who comes from a different background as me takes what I have and projects their personal life or personal trauma or personal experience in this life onto my art, then obviously chaos and disconnects will happen. So I don't think it's about how one, I feel like they just, I don't know, like, it just
with this song.
A lot.
And
Her suit is
maybe the biggest thing he should do right now is listen. When you want empathy, like even Gretchen, the governor said, you know, well, people need to just listen. They're coming after him. If you want people to empathize with your side, or your take or your interpretation, you need to stop, and he should open his ears, because maybe he doesn't consciously realize why a lot of people are not okay with this song, and he should really listen to that.
I'm actually not going to give him.
I disagree that a lot of people aren't okay. I feel like it's a small majority that aren't okay with his song, but they're very loud about it, if that makes sense. Because if people weren't okay with his song, he wouldn't have had over 10 million views in less than a week. Like, I don't think the vast majority of people aren't okay. I feel like the vast majority of people actually don't see a problem with it. They just see it, especially people like me who don't listen to country music. We just see it as like another country music, another country artist singing a song that we just probably won't listen to on our way to church or something. Like, we just don't deep it. So I think there's a small percentage of people that probably have a problem with it, and they're just the loudest voices. So it seems like more people have a problem with it than people actually do. Like, I'm generally speaking, like, I live in the South. I'm from Texas, for goodness sake. Like, no one's on the streets talking about this. This isn't a formal topic. It's like just social media and media. Like,
and I'm pleased that you are, and I'm pleased that you are.
You do agree that he should be allowed to say whatever he wants.
Because as a lawyer, when I put my legal hat on, I don't believe in censorship.
Right.
However, this man is from Macon, Georgia. My father's from Augusta, Georgia, and Macon, Georgia. I spent many summers there. Yeah, both. I spent many summers there. It is one of the most racist places in this country. So don't tell me that he knew nothing about what that imagery meant and what he. So I don't give him the benefit.
But I'm saying, along with him, more people should also be held accountable.
The other thing is that what was evoked for me, which was, you know, you're not going to get out of this town, are those sundown
don't let the sun
areas
go down on your ass.
Because there were times when black people, my mother's in the audience today, thank you. And my mother...
See, this is why, like, breaking up lyrics and pulling it out without the full context can be dangerous, because he's saying, like, what the song said was, try this in a small town, see how far it goes. That was the entire sentence. Not like, because what Sunny was saying is come down to, like, I know what she is saying, but what, y'all, even my brain right now is just moving so fast than I can even express, because I'm just like, where are we as a people to like make this like something bigger than what it really wasn't even intended to be? Like, I think essentially what he's just saying, like, the stuff that he was depicting in the graphics, he was saying if that were to go down from where he came from, that would never be a thing from where he came from or where he grew up in. I don't think it had nothing to do with race. I don't think it had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, because like I said before, even the graphics that he used, it specifically showed white people as well. Like, that's why I'm just like,
Father, because they were an interracial couple, were run out of South Carolina by the KKK. And my father is still scarred from that experience, and you are still scarred from that experience. So
We're
don't
all
tell,
still scarred from that experience.
So don't tell me that not only was he aware of what he was doing by using that imagery, he embraces that imagery. And unfortunately, this became the #1 song on US iTunes. We have a
I
problem.
don't think it's fair for her to say his intentions though. She can't sit there confidently and say he embraces this. Like, that's not fair. The same way, like, he can't, like, I feel like that's why we don't get anywhere. You can't tell somebody else's their intentions. You can't tell somebody else their feelings. I hear her feelings. I hear her point of view. I may disagree, but I still hear. I don't think vast majority of Americans believe what she believes, because if that was the case, the views wouldn't be viewing. Like, it would not be #1. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Problem in this country about race, and the biggest problem is we refuse to admit that it exists.
Well, don't you think that a
that's
lot
the
of
biggest
a lot of this big
That's part
city,
of it,
small
yeah.
town businesses?
and another thing, I feel like the audience disagrees as well, because, like, the audience didn't clap once. Not that they are obligated to, but, like, usually when you drop some gems or something here and there on The View, they're going to clap in agreement. I feel like a lot of the audience probably don't even see it how they may see it or view it as.
Race is about race. The cities have more
Yes,
black
of course
people than
it
the
is.
small
Well,
towns.
of
course it
and
is.
you know,
That's why he
you
used
turn on
black
Fox
imagery.
News. You turn on Fox News any given time of the day, and there's all these stories about New York and California being crime-ridden states. The states with the worst murder rates are all red states: Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and
You're
Missouri.
making it Democrat, Republican. There are a
doesn't-
lot of small towns
it
that are
doesn't-
not.
This is all political stuff.
But I know, but I'm saying that not every small town is a red or a blue. Some
the
are.
ones that
you.
he's talking from.
You have the...
from this
Oh, I'm
song
sorry.
are-
It's all right.
I have a legal note.
Really?
Yes?
I do.
Shocking.
Jason Aldean defended his song in a statement, saying the references people have made are not only meritless, but dangerous.
I agree.
He added, there is not a single lyric in that song that references race or points to it. And there isn't a single video clip that isn't real news footage.
Did you ever hear of a dog?
I agree. Like, it's dangerous. That's what I was saying before. Whenever you insinuated he was talking about Black Lives Matter or brought black people into the song, when you see the song, there's nothing with, he doesn't even say black people at all. And he groups, like, I feel like he's grouping the actual actions. He's not trying to group people. He's saying the action itself. That is what he's disagreeing with, which he has every right to do so.
And while I can try and respect others to have their own interpretation of a song with music, this one goes too far.
No,
So that's
This
what's
one
so
is so
interesting
boring.
about all of this, is it does go too far. You've gone too far.
Hot Nuts Popcorn Bundle.
Okay, y'all know my thoughts. That's how you know I'm not even being biased or unbiased. #1, I'm a registered Democrat. #2, I don't even know who Jason Aldean is until this whole thing was trending. #3, I'm not even a big country music fan. So that's how you know I'm, like, not even being biased towards him, but I'm genuinely being honest. I don't agree with majority of the panel's take on this. I think it's beyond dangerous, and I agree with his statement when he said it's very, very dangerous, because I don't think he was talking about anything about specifically race. He was talking about actions itself, that he has every right to do so and talk about. Like, yeah, I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Be respectful amongst each other, y'all, because sometimes y'all be, like I said before, I know it's YouTube, but we're not trying, don't be divisive with nobody in the comments. But I actually want to know your thoughts and opinions about this whole scenario, whole situation, like, and how people are how some people are choosing to, like, interpret the video and so forth. Is it fair? What do you think? Comment down below. In the meantime, please press that subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Like, comment, share. Make sure you follow me on my social media as well to keep up to date. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. This is ALDEAN, connecting people with policy.